Hi guys, RP Gamer here, and for part 3 of this week's RP Ramblings, I'm going to be talking about how to personify your character. Tips and what to do, what not to do to kind of be your character, to bring your character to life. So, start off with, yes, I'm aware I did promise my voices in this video. Not this voice you hear every day, but my other voices, and of course I'm very self-conscious and not very confident in them, but I will attempt to produce my voices. So first thing, do you remember back in character creation video we talked about using the mechanics and the stats to come up with who your character is? Well, you can continue to do that by using the roles and the stats we have. But you don't want to go too with it. Like, for example, my character, he's not that smart. Well, we say he has average intelligence and average charisma, but just because he's got that and he's got strong strength doesn't mean that I'm going to say, well, he's not as smart as everyone else, so he's going to go running in, hitting everything. Well, no, he's probably not. If he comes across a situation which he doesn't understand or he can't participate in, he's gonna defer to one of the other characters. He's gonna turn around to the halfling and ask, what do we do? And of course this is awesome, because not only is it you're playing your character, but you're also passing the spotlight onto the halflings player. So that's kind of a what not to do and a what to do in one, really. Don't just see low stats and think, oh, he's mindless, he's just gonna go, he's a one-trick pony. So just use your stats and the mechanics. I'll talk about rolling in a second, but your stats to, at this point, guide you. They're a little less restrictive than when you were creating the character, but you should still take them into account, obviously. But rolling, I'd say when rolling, you should take a look at the result of the roll, and yes, if it's an attack roll, you're going to miss if you fail the roll. But if it's a social roll, if he's trying to persuade someone, bear in mind he's got no bonus or no negative to his roll. If he wants to step up and try to persuade someone, he's gonna have a chance to do it. He's gonna have that moment of, maybe if you succeed, don't play his speech as this amazing, he gives this amazing speech, rousing speech, because that's not the character. The character's not, you haven't created the character as being charismatic, as having the vocabulary. But if he succeeds in his persuade roll, you could put it forward as his speech is passionate, he speaks with confidence, the people he's talking to feel empowered due to the passion, not the words, but due to the way he's talking. Kind of similar with intelligence checks and wisdom. Say he comes across a physical puzzle that he's got to run. It's this little box, but has it's like a safe where it's got to be, the opening mechanism's got to be turned one way, then another way, so much, then back, and then unlock. Well, maybe if he succeeds his intelligence roll looking at this, he figures it out. You could roleplay that as he's seen one of these before, his father had one, or he's just encountered them before. But if he fails, it's not just, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. If he fails, roleplay as he thinks he knows what he's doing. He's came up with an idea, but it's the wrong idea, but it's his idea and he's going to go with it anyway. He thinks that if he spins it full rotations 100 times, it's going to open. So while the other character's talking or trying to figure it out, you could roleplay him in the background just spinning this device, trying to get it to open. So that's kind of a way to roleplay failures on the more social exploration side of the character. Use the roles to dictate, and don't just go blindly into situations because, oh well, I've got a better start in that, so that's what they'd do. They'd always defer to the other party members rather than do their thing. Or you could roleplay them, they just barrel in, weapons raised, start attacking anything that they come across that they don't understand, and maybe use that as character development, as party inclusion. He starts off doing that. That works for a few encounters. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe eventually they get in trouble because of it with the law or such. They come across someone who's just a bit bigger than them, and then he finally realises, maybe what I'm doing isn't the right thing. So he starts backing away in situations. He starts asking the other party's members permissions before he runs in and fights. And then we get back to what I mentioned before about using the party members, bringing the spotlight on the other party. So just simple little ways to roleplay like that. Sorry for the little jump there, I had to pause while the wind picked up. We're kind of suffering the tail end of Storm Gareth with the wind. So anyway, so that's kind of how to personify a character, roleplay the character using the dice and the results you're given. But how do we personify the characters when we first sit down, when we're not rolling? So I mean, it might sound stupid, but realistically, when you first sit down, you could get in a costume. Maybe I've I've seen plenty of people do it. I mean, even if you don't have any particular costumes at home, you could make one. If you're a wizard, wrap a colourful bed sheet around you and put plant pot on your head. That's a costume. Be funny, but it's a costume. I mean, kind of reminds me of when I was 8 and my mum wouldn't buy proper Halloween costumes and would only buy at most the masks or the fake fangs. So we'd end up going with the fake fangs in our mouth and a bin liner wrapped around our neck as a cape. That'd be us as vampires for Halloween. Or she'd put just a sheet with a hole in over our heads and it would be a ghost. So, but yeah, enough about my tragic childhood. I mean, my kids don't have to deal with that. They get proper costumes. So, I think we could do a costume, be as simple as getting a stick off the ground and that's your wand. You don't need to buy a I was going to say buy a fake wand. Not like there's any real ones out there. But just get a stick. You could be that'd be perfect if you're playing a wild mage or a druid. Have a stick. Or get a hat and stick leaves to it. There you go. So, I'm sure you could find out a top hat if you're playing a gentleman style character. So, not really. And there you're even, in fact, you've given the impression of the character before you've even sat down or just as you're sitting down. People can already tell the kind of character. One way people do it when playing online is by providing an image of either their character or a character that represents their character, that looks similar to their character, and as an overlay for online, so you got that image to look to. And if you notice, I've not even mentioned voices yet, because to me, yes, a voice can provide that instant disconnect between player and character, but it's not important for the players to come up with a voice. The GM or DM might benefit from coming up with voices, especially for meaningful NPCs, so that the players can recognise the difference between them. My microphone keeps getting stuck in my coat, so apologies if you lose me for a minute. But yeah, and yes, I am going to do my voices at some point when I get the courage. But as well as costumes and role-playing using the roles, we can do, hand gestures. Our hand gestures or our facial expressions can change. Signify that it's kind of a different character. Signify the mood of the character. To like if you're playing a rogue or just a character who's the loner type. I mean, I do like people who play the loner type as long as they play them right, and I will in another video talk about that. Talk about how you can play your character right, but maybe they stand around in the background, possibly, maybe in the foreground because they believe their idea is right. But what if they talk about, they like sit there with their arms crossed in front of them the whole time, looking quite standoffish from the rest of the party. Maybe they mumble more often than not, especially when they're unhappy with the plan, or they just don't want to do something. But I mean, obviously as the player you eventually force your character to do it, to carry on with the story. And as I say, I'll be talking about that more in that upcoming video about players and the ones I don't like. And I really shouldn't have came into the woods today because yeah, it's been raining, so but I'm here. Right, so talk about gestures. We've talked about, or another gesture would be the bold PC, the outspoken PC or NPC. Who talks with a bellowing voice. There you go, one voice. Maybe his arms are out, welcoming the party, welcoming his fellow players to his table at the inn. So, yeah. Oh, I can't do it because I don't have both hands free, but you could have the snivelling player that just plots in the background, or the NPC that just plots behind the king. And then when he gets his power, it's I fooled you all. And this is incredibly muddy and I'm about to slip over, so I apologise if that happens. And to be honest, doing my voices is a lot easier than I thought, because I'm just talking to a camera. I don't need to put this up. I can press stop any minute and just start again without the voices. But I won't. Or, as I have a recurring NPC in my worlds, I said worlds, not campaign, because he'll be appearing in multiple worlds. And bear in mind that I haven't done my voices yet in campaigns because of my reason of self-consciousness and yes. But one NPC is Raoul, the greatest swordsman of all time. He will defend you. Nobody is better than him. Or I've got this voice, which I haven't thought of a character for yet, but maybe you can come up with one for me. Just tell me in the comments a good name that would suit this voice, because I can't think of one. Nugget. Sorry, I just had to do that because that voice was inspired by Stephanie over at GT Live and their playthrough of Kindergarten and her voice of Nugget. So, anyway, I hope my voice has sounded alright, because I can't quite hear myself properly with these headphones in. I should have really had one out while I was doing them, but I've never done them on camera or recorded them before, so I don't know what they sound like. And since I very rarely watch these back, I probably won't know what they sound like myself, except of how they sound in my head. Now, you may notice that none of those voices were the concerns that many people have about their voices, about why they don't do voices. Main concern I know of when people say I can't do voices is because they can't imitate a voice or impersonate a character. They would love to do Wolverine's voice, but they just can't get it right. And I mean, I can't do Wolverine's voice, I'm not even going to try. But one thing about it is, it's your character. Your character isn't Wolverine. So, your character sounds as you want them to sound. And a problem with making your character sound exactly like Wolverine is the GM and the players have all more than likely heard Wolverine. So as soon as you start speaking, doing your immaculate Wolverine impression, the rest of the party will just think Wolverine. I mean, it's an awesome way of portraying the personality of the character. They don't need to get to know the character to know that you're pretty much Wolverine. But the problem is that, it can take them out of the game. Especially if it's a medieval game and you've got Wolverine running around. So my suggestion would be, yes, practice the impersonation, maybe, if that's what you want, but don't get it right. Don't get it spot on, because, as I say, it might drag the players and the GM out of the world that you're in. Put your own spin on the voice, because it's not the voice you're wanting for your character. You're wanting your character to be Wolverine, so just be Wolverine, just with a slightly different voice. It's the personality you were wanting in your character. It's the attitude. Same with accents. A big one for people why they don't do voices is because they can't imitate an accent. I can't really imitate accents with much success. So, and I'm not even going to try before you say. I might try in a future video if enough people like this one. So there you go. Like the video, subscribe, share, and I will do more voices and possible accents in the future. So, but it doesn't matter if you don't get an accent right, because, well, who cares? That country doesn't exist in your game, unless obviously you're doing a real world adventure. And then why are you putting on a voice anyway? You can just use your voice, your accent, because your accent exists in that world. If you've got an American accent, all your characters, and you're doing a real world adventure, all the NPCs come from America. All the game's set in America, so you don't need to worry about other accents. So there. Maybe. That is all for now. please like, subscribe and share, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.